From bumper cars to a mile and a half, we head to Texas Motor Speedway for a weekend full of NASCAR racing. We get you covered from a DFS and betting perspective next on the Backroad.
It's a non-points race, but it is a short race. Checkered flag. That's all this race
What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday night. Looks like Seth having a happy Thursday night there, jamming to the intro. I'm definitely caught doing that once in a while. Hey, this is the Backroad. It's in between media's NASCAR betting, fantasy NASCAR show. My name's Elliot Hicks. With me, the aforementioned Seth Woolcock. We are headed to Texas Motor Speedway this week. I tell you what, these race names, we just had at COTA the EchoPark Automotive Grand Prix. I look at this one, Autotrader EchoPark Automotive 400. Didn't we just have this? I don't know what the deal is.
Listen, Elliot, I woke up, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was, to check the race name, start getting some stuff laid out for content for the week. And when I saw that I was like, didn't we just effing do this? And it's so bad for search engine optimization, which is part of our job here on YouTube, part of our job here on the website, because it's so damn long. Like, the title for everything is so long this week. And why, from a marketing perspective, do you go back to almost the same name, but take out the GP and add 400? Makes no sense.
Yeah, I think this was, I don't know if it was this way last year, but COTA and Texas Oval definitely were not as scrunched together.
Yeah.
But hey, we're back in the Lone Star State this week. We're going to break down Texas. We are also going to reflect on the Martinsville race last week, won by William Byron. We'll give you our DFS rankings for the week and then our best bets to close out the show. Even though Texas is not the most exciting of tracks, it's still always an exciting show here on the Backroad.
Yeah, honestly, like, as I said, I wasn't happy about the name. I wasn't happy about heading to Texas after kind of a shitty Martinsville Cup race that was. You know, a lot of shit on the internet talked right now about Marcus Smith. I think this is one of his damnedest creations. So we're gonna have to endure it. Luckily, we won't be there, but we can enjoy a good weekend overall of racing. And as I've dug deeper into the DFS world and in the betting world this week, Elliot, like, I feel good about it. I feel like the books are sleeping on a couple drivers, and we're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, maybe not quite as much breathing room as we have, on some of these other tracks, but if there's anyone that's going to find you the value in the books, it's us here at the Backroad. Before we get to Texas, though, let's close the book on Martinsville in the rear view.
Yes, sir.
So it was a full weekend down at the Paperclip. All three series were racing. Christian Eckes gets the win in the truck series. Eric Almirola returns to victory lane and wins himself the extra cash in the Xfinity race. And William Byron takes the 1-2-3 Hendrick sweep victory in the Hendrick Motorsports 40th anniversary. I know in the Cup Series it wasn't the best race. Yeah. We probably should have had Hendrick performing better than we did. We weren't super high on them on the show last week.
Yeah, it was the conspiracy that was going around the internet, and we should have definitely been heavier on them. I think we were one of the shows who weren't. If you weren't heavy on Hendrick, like, I was high on Larson. I had a lot invested in Larson. But when you looked at, like, Byron's stats from the year prior, he was dog shit at Martinsville. Chase Elliott wasn't that good at Martinsville the year before as well. So, like, there wasn't a lot to go off of other than, the narrative that they're putting a lot into this race and there's a lot of pressure. And, Jeff Gordon smiling from the stands and Rick Hendrick and his wife are smiling at home. But yeah, I think that was a miss on our part. I will say we should have been heavier on Hendricks, but I've bet William Byron outright 3 times this year, Elliot. He hasn't won any of them. He's won 3 times.
Yeah, and hey, with Hendrick, not to mention the 1,500 people out in one of the turns or whatever, turn 2. And it maybe not quite as rigged as they wanted it. It was not a Hendrick 1, 2, 3, 4. But that was not one of the better races. Best race of the weekend, in your words, was Xfinity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I will say I was enjoying some beers. I was posted up at the bar watching this, but really great passing compared to the Cup Series. And I mean, when you saw Joey Logano in the Cup Series go out and run 100+ laps on only taking 2, that's not a great sign. And in Xfinity, the fall off was definitely there more. You could see more passing. Eric Almirola gets it done, and he was emotional after that win. I was emotional riding that outright as well. I went 2 whole units on that one, so I was happy to cash that. But love Eric Almirola. Love what Joe Gibbs Racing is doing right now in the Xfinity series. They're just kind of cleaning up, and I thought the race, like overall, it was good because if you remember, Elliot, I think I texted you. I was like, what the fuck's he doing taking the outside there with like whatever 10 to go? And luckily everything came to fruition there for us. Luckily.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely were down on Almirola, and I should have been with you on that one. I didn't know what he had left in the tank. Obviously he was going to be in a good car. We didn't really see the consistency in the Cup series, but clearly that was more of a Stewart-Haas issue. And, obviously the Xfinity grid a little bit weaker than the Cup grid, but still a lot of good competition there, and good for Almirola getting back to victory lane and kind of, you're almost better to end a career, to retire full-time from Cup racing with a little bit left in the tank, a little bit of that energy. So you can go have a little fun. Dale Earnhardt Jr. does it with a couple of Xfinity races a year. It's almost better to do something like that than to just let yourself run completely dry. I mean, who knows if that's what ended up with Harvick. He doesn't win in his last season. But again, that's a Stewart-Haas problem. And any words on the Truck Series race? Christian Eckes pretty much dominates that one.
Yeah, I got shelled in the truck race, honestly, too. I got shelled in Cup. I got shelled in the trucks. It was interesting, man. I don't think a lot of people were on Christian Eckes. I was on Ty Majeski. I was on Corey Heim. And Eckes just seemed to kind of come out with the speed. And, like, in the races, he has speed, man. Like, good luck. You know what I mean? Good luck betting anyone else outright. Like, man, I didn't see that one coming at all. And I'm a little afraid to venture as heavy back into the trucks as I was last week heading into Texas here.
Yeah, I don't remember if this conversation was on live or not live, but just the Truck Series being total chaos. We've mentioned it multiple times. It's definitely hard to handicap, hard to bet that. So don't be surprised if we skew a little heavier toward Cup and Xfinity and kind of leave some truck sprinkles for later on, because we are in the business of making some coin here, winning those buckets of money, and not necessarily the case in the trucks lately.
There are certain tracks where a driver in the Truck Series is going to be really good. Sometimes we get that when someone comes down, not as much this year when the Cup guys have come back down. But then there are a lot of like races like Texas. It kind of feels like a mismatch. A lot of the drivers who were fast at this track a year ago did not finish anywhere near the top. So like that's what you kind of have to be concerned with. Some lesser experienced guys down there, so some fuckus can happen. Like, how many times do we see Lance Riggs spin out if you took a shot every time Lance Riggs spun out, Elliot, last week, you would have been drunk. You would have woke up with a hangover the next day. It would probably have been 5 or 6. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season when we had Phil on, who was on good job on filling in the NASCAR betting preview show last night. If you guys caught that, Seth filling in as the host. If you didn't catch it, go back and watch it after this. Definitely good, some good content over there. But I remember I was pretty high on Lane Riggs, and it just has not worked out at all for him in the trucks. You guys were better off with your Heims and your Taylor Grays or whatever. We'll talk some more trucks, some Cup drivers in the field this week. We'll talk some more Xfinity. We'll talk some more Cup. But let's take a look at the track first. We'll break down Texas in the Horizon forecast.
Hey, Michael, it was only 20% chance of rain. I think we got all 20.
I tell you what, I'm glad the forecast does not call for as much rain in Texas as it's raining here in Pittsburgh outside my window right now. Not a lot of fun. But hey, so Texas, don't know what there is much to say about this one. One of those 1.5 mile cookie cutters.
Yeah, it's a low wear intermediate. So like I prefer the high wear intermediate. It's just like from a betting perspective, you kind of know who's going to save those tires. So a little bit more chaos can happen here. We know it was repaved in 2017 as well. Shout out Marcus Smith once again. But we do have some comps at least, and we have a comp this year specifically to look at in Las Vegas, which will be handy. We can look at Kansas and Charlotte. Those are the main 3 tracks that I'll be comping with Texas. And then we have some secondaries, Michigan, Homestead, Nashville, kind of like their own thing a little bit. But you can take some of it. But I will say, Elliot, this is perhaps the hardest race of the year so far for me to handicap, especially in the Cup Series, because one, the last 2 years, if you rewatch these races, the tires were just going on these cars like nothing. I remember Kevin Harvick finally took the lead last year. I had a little sprinkle on him at Texas. As soon as he does, tire goes out, hits the wall. And we saw so many wrecks last year, so many one-car spins, both in 2022 and 2023. And also, like, we have to keep in mind, we've only seen this track twice over the last 2 years in total, and last year's in the playoffs.
Yeah, I almost wonder if this is a daytime race, I believe, on Sunday, if that'll affect things, because it was more of a night race the last couple of years. Texas fell on a weekend where I'm out of commission at a music festival, so I haven't watched a bunch. So that's why it is good to have so many comp tracks. I looked at Charlotte, Kansas, especially Vegas, since we've already ran there this
Yeah.
year. And Nashville, I thought, is probably more similar to this than a Michigan or a Homestead. Not that I didn't work those in, but Nashville definitely similar enough that that's worth lumping in there in the main comparisons for me, at least.
Okay, agreed. Looking at the schedule this weekend, we got trucks going off 7:30 p.m. Eastern time here on Friday. Saturday, wake up early. Cup qualifying and practice starts 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Xfinity 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. I wish the Xfinity race would be at night. I'll be honest, like I like to be doing stuff during my day, and I'll be watching, but I'll be doing other things as well. So that's kind of a bummer. But then Sunday, we get to start early, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time in the Cup race. Lap 80 is going to be the end of stage 1. Lap 165 will end stage 2. And then lap 267 will end the race. Let's talk a couple trends for Texas here, Elliot. Ryan Blaney is number 2 all-time in starting position, right around 10 flat, only to Steve Park. Brad Keselowski and Martin Truex Jr., though, are the only drivers active in the field that have 2 poles. Keep in mind, Bubba Wallace pulled this last year. He's looked really good the last couple weeks in qualifying, so potential pull bet there for you. We can talk about that later. SHR, though, is actually tied with Hendrick for most pulls all time at Texas, although they haven't done it since 2019. They have 7 of them. So kind of a mismatch there with qualifying. Some race stats and trends to keep an eye out for as well. Only 3 drivers in the field have multiple Texas wins. Jimmy Johnson coming back. He has 7 Texas wins. I think that's probably why he circled this one. And then we also have Rowdy with 4, Hamlin with 3. But 4 straight years, it's been a new Texas winner as well. So something to keep in mind, potentially maybe a new Texas winner this weekend. And I'll be honest, Ellie, I don't think qualifying matters as much this week. Like 55.8% of the winners have come from the top 5. That's not a huge number compared to some other tracks. And only 18.6% of the winners coming from that front row. So like, I think this a week you should be getting down a little bit early, but still saving a little bit of bankroll too, just in case someone comes out fast.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're going to look fast in practice and qualifying, you're worth a look. But this race, as you said, the last couple of years has really been more of a battle of attrition.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter. It's really tough to handicap, as you mentioned, just because you could have a guy that's out there fast as can be, goes out, maybe even wins stage 1, blows a tire middle of stage 2, their race is over. And with Jimmy Johnson, I kind of forgot he had 7 wins here. One of his more dominant tracks. It looks kind of weird. Like, why the hell is he going to run Texas? But it's really competitive out there in that 84. You never know.
Yeah. Can't get it done with 2 cars. Let's see what 3 can do on the track. Let's talk Asterisk Mark Driver of the Week that's presented by iFantasy Race. We greatly appreciate everything Ryan and his crew do over there. This is where we're getting a lot of our data each and every single week. So make sure you're checking out iFantasyRace.com. Kyle Larson last fall was one of those drivers you kind of alluded to, Elliot. One of those guys who was running up from kind of the class of the field, ended up finishing 31st, though. Won stage 2, led 99 laps, best total speed ranking. However, during a late restart, lap 247, crashed battling for the lead. So Kyle Larson, not a lot of love for him last season, how he ended, but the books obviously love him coming in, and like, it's a clear asterisk mark here, according to iFantasy Race.
Yeah, I mean, Larson being one of the more dominant cars is really no surprise at the 1.5 miles, as we'll talk about as we break down more Texas.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that's pretty much everything I'd say from a handicapping and betting, or handicapping and comping perspective, and looking at trends in the data. So I think we can go ahead, and I think we get a little further here, and parking garage, or no, shit, sorry, tire tiers, my bad.
Yeah, let's rank them first before we go with the bets. We got to give them some of an idea of where we're going to be looking. So let's go ahead and hop into that. So the field this week, relatively standard. The extra additions of Jimmy Johnson in the 84, as well as Austin Hill in the 83. Our guy Ty Dillon, our favorite, he's back in that 16 car for Colleague.
God damn, man. Like, Colleague is just such a joke right now. And I even had a little love for Daniel Hemrick last week, Elliot, and he was a good DFS play for me actually when I was trying to shoot some dart throws. But come on, Ty Dillon, do better, Matt. That's all.
Hey, the man's got to take the money. He's been self-funding these cars forever. But all
That's
right,
true.
you normally, yeah, you normally get the last pick. I'll give you the gift of the first pick this week. Who are you throwing up on the board first for Texas?
Yeah, throw Larson, man. As Ryan said, Larson was the class of the field here. Like we can remember back, I think it was 2021, pre-next gen too, but he was on the pole that race and kind of just like snooze fested away. So I like Larson a lot this week. He's still averaging like 51 DraftKings points per week. Number one in the next gen total speed rankings at Texas. Kyle Larson, he's a slam dunk here. He's 4-1 for a reason from a betting perspective.
Yeah, and he is the most expensive of the week at 11,000. But honestly, for how well Larson's run here, that seems cheap enough to put him on the board as the A1. I'll throw Tyler Reddick up here as kind of an A1B. You know, obviously not the same dominance as Larson here at Texas or in the mile and a halfs, but he's fourth in the total speed rankings. That's not too far off of Larson's best in the series. Total speed rankings at the high speed mile and a half tracks, like I said, not just factoring in Texas, but factoring in some we'll call them better mile and a half tracks, especially with Las Vegas already having come in 2024. That'll give us some of an idea of not just what happened last season, not just what happened last fall in a playoff race at Texas, but what you can expect from these guys right here, right now on a mile and a half. I think Reddick will be right on Larson's tail all day.
Yeah, Reddick's looking good, man. Reddick's looking good. We know he almost caught him here at the end of Las Vegas, so I like the call out there for him. Give me Ross Chastain. Put him up here in the A tier. He hasn't been here much this season, but arguably Ross Chastain, I think, is one of the best cars when we come to mile and a half tracks each and every season. Like, what more do you want from? All I have to say is fourth at Las Vegas and second in this race a year ago, and he had a shit ton of issues in that race. Like, he was dodging bullets left and right, pit crew making mistakes left and right. Ross Chastain at a really reasonable 9,200. I think he's like 22 flat over on Fantrax, something close to that. Sign me up. He'll be in pretty much every lineup for me. Ross Chastain, we got the shirt on today, Elliot. Had it on yesterday. I'm all in this week. I'm back on the melon, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real good price for Chastain. Hey, I picked the watermelon hard Mountain Dew this evening for a reason, for the beverage on the show. Top 10 in the total speed rankings at the mile and a half. And we know those Trackhouse boys, they don't want to let more than a couple of weeks go without being at least part of the talk of the town. So I think Chastain and perhaps even Suarez will be guys that can run up toward the front this week.
Yes. Rachel in the chat popping in. What's the help, Rachel? How you doing? Rachel's getting a little more acquainted with NASCAR. She's been popping into these shows quite a bit. We appreciate you, Rachel. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday evening. And it was cool, Elliot. It was cool last night, you know, still being on our channel, but I felt like I was on a different show, as you alluded to in the NASCAR betting preview show. But it was so cool to see like Stan and Lana and Dee Dee and like so many of these like regulars who are regulars to the Backroad popping over there, supporting us over there too. So cool week. And who else do you have for the A tier here?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice people watch the NASCAR betting preview show also. Not to poo-poo us too much because I like the work we do here, but you know, there are times where those guys are a hell of a lot smarter than us, and it's a really good production over there too. So watching that show and watching this show, we always appreciate it. This almost not quite feels like an inflection point, but I do think these are probably the three kind of consensus favorites on my board. I will throw Denny Hamlin up in the A's as well.
Yeah,
you know, your typical well-rounded, you know, fairly obvious pick for me. Second in the total speed rankings. The price, he's right up there at 10,500. Not second most expensive though. A couple of guys in between there. But even though Joe Gibbs Racing did not quite show what I thought they would at Martinsville last week, I do think that 11 at least will be up front coming to Texas.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I got burned by Denny Hamlin last week coming down pit road. It dropped me out of a lot of money in some DraftKings lineups that I was really doing well in, and it took away my top 5 bet that I bet the house on. So that was a real bummer. Fuck you, Chris Gabehart, last week. But it's hard to be too mad when he won me a bunch of money the week before, you know?
Right, and I thought that would have been a better strategy. You know, do the opposite of the Hendrick cars. I think he just expected more than just him in the top 15.
Yeah, come on. Everyone else should get a little risky there too. Like, you ain't winning the race, but
yeah, I kind of thought that I'm not to go back on Martinsville, but I did kind of think that whoever the first guy to pit was, everyone would follow him like a freight train behind him. Leave those Hendrick cars out to dry. Didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. I'm gonna throw one more in the A, and then I think I'm ready to move down if you are. Give me Bubba Wallace, dude.
Yeah.
Bubba Wallace was the class of the field at Texas. Like, you kind of knew he probably wasn't going to win because Bubba always kind of just gets, in his own way a little bit, Elliot. But
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's great at these low wear, high speed, intermediate tracks, man. And I think Bubba Wallace is going to come out, and I think he's going to have a great race. Wasn't great at Las Vegas, but finally coming off his first top 5 of the season as well. Like, they put it all together, and they've had a top 5 car probably 3 or 4 times this year. They just haven't got the finish. I think they got the momentum going in the right direction. He pulled it last year. I expect him to be fast in qualifying. 8,700 for Bubba Wallace. Maybe not a lot of differential points if you are playing on DraftKings, but other than that, I think he's a tier A driver for me this week.
Yeah, I mean, unless he runs into trouble, which, Bubba Wallace unfortunately tends to do sometimes, whether he creates it himself or not. These 2311 cars, they're not always bad fast at every mile and a half every week. But this place in Kansas especially, these guys just end up on fire. So definitely worthy of both of them being in the A's. I think Byron's probably worthy of tier A also.
Yeah.
I really think, we've talked about this before. You know me, I talk about Hendrick more than probably any other team for one reason or another. I do think that Byron is now worthy of being mentioned in the same sentence as Larson every single week. He and Rudy Fugel as his crew chief, who he had years ago at Kyle Busch Motorsports, and they brought them back together at Hendrick, has turned Byron into, one of the 3 to 4 best drivers week in, week out in this series, which I don't know about you, Seth. I really didn't expect it when he was younger. He and Bowman were kind of on the same level.
Yeah.
It just wasn't quite there. But William Byron has really caught fire, and I think he's one of these guys that now week in and week out, we're going to have him in the A's or the B's. He's going to be one of the better cars out there. Definitely worthy on the mile and a halfs too. 3rd in speed ranking in the series, right behind only Hamlin and Larson on the mile and a halfs. This 24 car probably worthy of closing out the tier A's. He's at 10,800. I know it's a steep price to pay. Really seems like he's worth it. He and the 5, the 2 best Chevrolets week in, week out.
When it was like last year too, when he comes out and wins this race, like no one expected it. He kind of came out of nowhere once again, and like he's the closer now. He is the closer. He gets in position, and I've had no bigger egg on my face than William Byron's entire career, because there was a point when we first started doing this show back in, I think maybe 2021, that I was always low on Byron. I just didn't think, I thought he was a little bit lazy. And then the more I learned about this kid, I said, oh, he's anything but that lazy. I mean, this is a self-made kid, man. And I love what he's done. I can't bet him worth the shit. I've lost more money in my betting career on Byron than anyone, but he'll reward you this week if you play him in DFS. Like, I do like Larson more by the numbers, but Byron's probably safer. Like Larson has a higher ceiling, I think, this week, but Byron's probably like not going to burn you. Kyle Larson could records or checkers in, and I wouldn't be surprised. Right.
And I mean, not to say that Larson still isn't, the undisputed 1A this week or most weeks, but Byron is definitely way more comparable to him than he would have been, especially in the next gen car. Byron's been the best driver in the next gen. Larson wins 10 in 2021. I don't know that he's won 10 combined in the 3 years of the next gen.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's go down to B's then.
Yeah.
I like Brad Keselowski this week. It was a big old Brad Keselowski session yesterday. On
you say that's so enthusiastic.
Because my thing about Brad Keselowski is I just don't play him a lot in DFS. I don't think I've bet on Brad Keselowski his whole season, Elliot. I've just kind of been staying away. But you look at what Brad Keselowski has done here at Texas. I mean, it's really good, man. 6th place or 7th place last season. He's found a way to get it done on these mile and a halves continually. Number 6 in the NASCAR Next Gen Total Speed rankings at Texas specifically. So yeah, sign me up for Brad this week. I think it's a fair price you're paying over there at DraftKings. So I'll take Brad Keselowski on a little bit of a discount at 8,200.
Yeah, you definitely talked yourself into it a little more there. When you said it at first, it's just, I guess I'll take Keselowski, but I think that is a good pick, and especially at the price of 8,200, it's good to pick him up at a bargain. Good to pick up his teammate too, Chris Buescher. I mean, we do this every week. The RFK cars are going to be right next to each other.
They were last week.
Yeah, they run next to each other. They get ranked next to each other, and it oftentimes works out. Buescher 11th in that mile and a half speed ranking that I've got here to my left. Thanks again to iFantasy Race for compiling that data, because we've got every mile and a half track here from 2023 and 2024. And the 2 races where Buescher's had the best speed ranking in the field, it was Vegas this year, 3rd, and Texas last year, 3rd. So I think the 17 car could arguably even outrun this 6 car But either way, RFK should be a force to be reckoned with in this B tier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can go ahead and throw the other two Joe Gibbs racing cars up here. Christopher Bell, he was a top 6 car here a year ago. Martin Truex Jr., just like pretty damn consistent. Didn't have it last week. Like you were high on MTJ last week, and I was a little worried that it was, but a lot of people were. He was like the industry chalk, it felt like last week. I was a little bit off of him. Didn't have the best run here a year ago, but when you're still talking about the cream of the crop at mile and a half, Martin Truex Jr. 7th in those total speed rankings at high speed mile and a half since 2023. So yeah, just put the Joe Gibbs cars up there. Oh, you snuck Ty Gibbs in there too. I guess I forgot about Ty Gibbs. I don't know if I like Ty Gibbs there, man.
I think that he'll have the opportunity to be fast. I like his price at 8,500. You know, the speed ranking not perfect, but 5th at Vegas.
Yeah,
and I just think he's becoming a more well-rounded driver. He's becoming a type of guy that could leapfrog his teammates. He's really becoming a good race car driver. Texas, you know, a nice little hot, fast track. I remember a young guy with connections to the sport, you know, with the family getting his first win here on a nice day in 2000 or whatever it was, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8. Why not the 54, Ty Gibbs picking up his first Cup win at Texas?
Yeah, he wrecked out of this race last year, but had speed. And if you remember, I was heavy on him going to Kansas last year, and he was bad fast unloading Kansas. So I can get behind Ty Gibbs. All I'll say about him, though, is last week you guys put him in A tier. I didn't like the call. I had to like pseudo defend you when I wrote this out in the article version the next day, but I also called you out at the same time. So I don't know if I was high on, but yeah, Ty Gibbs, he can stay there. I'll give you that. Bob making the case for the 99, Daniel Suarez. Ooh, I don't know. He was 18 a year ago. His Texas stats are kind of litty, actually. His Texas stats aren't bad.
I don't know if I'm okay with him in the Bs. I have one other guy I'll bring up for the Bs, but I think Suarez as a C works for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm gonna like Daniel Suarez. Like Texas is probably his best mile and a half track, but still for what you're paying, I don't know. I just think they're 7,200. Like it's okay, but Eric Jones is right there, like 7 flat too. Eric Jones is weird at Texas. He has like those tracks. Eric Jones, put Eric Jones up here as we're talking about him. Like,
yeah, I think so.
He's kind of the other industry chalk this week a little bit, but Eric Jones, number 8 in the Texas NASCAR Next Gen Total Speed rankings here. So yeah, I like Eric Jones. I think he's going to be good once again as heading here into Texas.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to handicap Jones and handicap Legacy. It's also hard to handicap Ryan Blaney, who was my other guy I was thinking about for the Bs. He's got the good Next Gen Speed ranking. He's got the price that you really can't put him too low. You know, 10,200. I think that's maybe a little more than I'd like to pay, especially because with the Penske Fords, it's so difficult. But, you know, he's got that speed, went out there, won Charlotte, one of our calm tracks last year, pretty well dominated that race. I don't think you put either of his Penske teammates probably anywhere near him, but I do think Blaney is like a B- this week is probably where I would rank him.
B-. Okay. Yeah. Blaney definitely deserves to be there. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else we missed in B before we where's Logano to you? How do you feel about Logano this week? Logano's kind of been on a little bit of a roll. He's coming back here, and I don't think this is one of his best tracks by any means. I don't think he had a great finish last year. Yeah, 21st last year, but he did have a second in 2022, still in the next gen era.
Yeah, I mean, I'm content with him in the C's. I don't know if we're going to put him kind of sandwiched between the 99 and 43 there.
You can put him above the 99. Just show him a little respect, I guess. I'm trying to think who else we can make a case here for Elliot. What about Elliot? Like, where do you think Chase is this week? We are low on him last week again. We keep getting him wrong. I keep getting Chase wrong.
Yeah, you know, we've all I've been saying with Chase, go out there, show me you can win a race. He's had some more speed. I'm kind of warming up on the 9 car. I don't think it's enough to put him in the Bs. I still think he's probably a high C this week.
Yeah, give him a high C. Put him somewhere around Joey. I'm fine with that. Yeah,
but we'll put him above Joey just because of the Hendrick. You know, Hendrick mojo the last couple weeks has been better.
Yeah, 11th here last season. So, all right. I guess let's get a little weird. Talk about if you want some leverage this week, a name that it was very chalky last week. We wrote it. We took it. It was good for betting. It was good overall for DFS as well. If you want a name no one's going to be talking about this week, Chase Briscoe, throw him back up there in the C's. 10th here last year, 5th here in 2022. Also has a 4th place finish going back to 2021 as a rookie. This is one of those tracks for Briscoe too, man. He can get around it a little bit. If I'm playing an SHR car, I think it's Chase Briscoe. Like, the price is high, Elliot, at 7,700, but that's why I know no one's going to be fucking on this guy. So sign me up once again. I'm signing my name over to the devil once again. I'm going back to the 14.
Yeah, this is the most Briscoe love we've seen from you since his rookie year, but I don't hate it. You know, Stewart Haas, you know, they weren't too terrible last week at Martinsville. We saw Briscoe, you know, kind of get screwed over by, I forget if it was bad pit strategy or bad pit stop or something that just put him behind the 8 ball. But we definitely saw some life out of Briscoe. SHR has the history here, even if it's relatively ancient history in 2019. But I don't hate it. And, you know, I've got love for other SHR guys, but not before a guy I think we've been undervaluing a little bit. I think Kyle Busch is worthy of a C here. I mean, the next gen speed rankings have been good. He's 5th in the series. He was 9th in Vegas. It's just been, Rowdy's just been in a weird spot. You know, we're used to seeing Kyle Busch go out there, dominate week in, week out, win a handful of races a season. It hasn't been that way with RCR, but I think, you know, the price is not perfect. He's at 9,000. I do think we're undervaluing him a little bit here. Kyle Busch could be someone who's sneaky. You know, if he doesn't have a great qualifying run, maybe that price has some is affected a little bit by that, and could be worth a look.
Well, my issue here is Kyle Busch has been fast. He's been up in the mix. He's been dicing and slicing through traffic here at Texas last couple of years. But what has that got him? P34 a year ago, P36 the year before, P21. I can't take the shot with how he's been this year and coming into this race. So I'm good. I'm good on that.
That's fair. I mean, I think he's worthy of a C-, but he's always tempted.
Yeah. No. Well, and I'll say this too, Elliot. I'll say this. Talk about another leverage piece. Another sneaky leverage piece is Kyle Busch. Like, no one wants to play Kyle Busch right now. Like, he is, and especially at 9K. Ooh, that's freaking gross. But like, it's so gross that it might be kind of good because no one else is gonna play fucking Kyle Busch this week. So sign me. Yeah. So I'm back in. at a C-. I talked myself in. Okay, let's go to D's then. Do you have anyone else for C's? Because I think there's I guess your guy Bowman. What about Bowman?
I was honestly thinking of having him as a D. You know, he's always kind of not necessarily mid-pack, but he's got the 1.5 mile speed ranking in the series. What, mid-teens? Yeah, 15th speed ranking in Vegas. I know we've got more than 15 ahead of him. I think he's probably worthy at the beginning of the D's, unless you really have an argument for the C's.
No, finishes in the next gen 12th and 29th. I don't love Bowman this week.
There's just nothing special. I mean, once in a while they can really hit on the setup. I just haven't seen any of it from the 48 in a long time. So
yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's drop down to those D's then. And I think this is where we get a little bit weird too. Talk about some leverage. I'm going down deep. I'm going 5,800. Corey LaJoie. I'm going to talk about him later too. Listen, Elliot.
I'm willing to listen. My ears are open.
Do you remember we're all sitting there at Las Vegas, probably 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, and we're like, oh my God, Corey LaJoie is like top 10 at Las Vegas in stage 1. He finished like 7th. Corey LaJoie is getting better at these 1.5 miles slowly. Carson Hocevar was good that day. He finished 15th. And I'll tell you about his finishes later, but they're good. Corey LaJoie is actually sneakily good at Texas. So if you're talking about a guy that you can just play that I don't think a lot of other people are going to play at 5,800, like, yeah, man, I want to get a lot of Larson and a lot of Ross, like that double stack in my lineup. And if I want to do that, I need some Corey LaJoie there.
Yeah, I mean, if you are going to play him, it's at these 1.5 miles. I did, you know, the memory's been short enough. I didn't really remember that at Vegas because I've seen him go out on short tracks and be the worst car in speed 2 weeks in a row. But you're right, this is not a short track. This is 1.5 miles. This is where we've had some LaJoie optimism. This is where we've had some Spire optimism to the point where I'm going to go ahead and throw Hocevar up there right next to him. He ran really well on speed in that 42 car last year at Texas in the fall. And I think, you know, the Spire's showing some life, as we know. It's been more the 77, more the 71 than it has been the 7. But I'm on board with a little D-tier Spire love, especially at the prices. You know, Hocevar all the way down at 5,900, just above LaJoie.
Yeah. I'm very, very cool with that. And I think Bob makes a good point. We should probably throw the 10 in here as well for using Las Vegas as our biggest.
He was exactly what I was thinking next, but I'll let you lead off with him.
No, I mean, he was a top 10 car at Las Vegas. Obviously, he's a Las Vegas kid, so he kind of got
Yeah.
that hometown bump. We knew that going into that race.
Mhm.
But I think I like it. Again, I like Briscoe more, but at the price that you can get, gosh, King
Briscoe?
Noah Gragson.
Yeah.
Sorry, the price you can
Oh,
get Noah
Gregson.
Gragson.
Yeah.
When I see the 10 car, I still think of Eric Almirola too much. That's my bad.
Yeah.
The price you can get Gragson this week, I'm okay with playing him. Alfred here in the chat saying, "Love you guys. Larson top 3 is good value." Yeah, we'll talk about bets here in a little bit more, but I know Elliot's sniffing around that juice as well.
Mhm.
Who else, Elliot? Anyone else for D's? Because I don't know. I'm not vibing with the rest of this field.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. I have a random anecdote that just popped into my head. I remember for years you would say Noah Grayson, and I always thought, how has he not learned how to say his name? Because everyone else, NBC, Fox Net,
Yeah.
would say Gregson. But then, before the Daytona 500, I don't know why this just popped into my head. Probably most we've talked about him since he's been, relatively irrelevant most of the year. So if you've never listened to a race on MRN, at the beginning of the race, they have all the drivers introduce themselves, and they say their name and where they're from. And he said Noah Grayson. I was like, oh shit, we've been fucking this up forever. But
I was right.
if everyone else does it too, I mean, maybe we'll go Gregson. He doesn't care. But I will give you some props for that one because I thought every time you said it, I'm like, this fucking moron still doesn't get it. But you were actually right on that one, so I will give you the retro.
I forgot his name though at first, so my apologies.
Right,
there.
but that must have been it. That it triggered my memory.
I got lost in the sauce of that great flow he's got going on.
Yeah, and I mean, with Noah in the 10, I look back at his stats last year. Obviously, he had the partial year in the 42. Looking for some more data to support me. I knew he had the good Vegas run. I know SHR is doing kind of well right now. I really didn't find anything, but then you remember Legacy, especially with Grayson and with the ship boxes they had last year. It was not a good time over there with that 42. His highlight of that was going out there and getting the fan vote for the All-Star race in the car they barely could put together because he had wrecked in that race. But, I do think in this 10 car, he'll be a lot better than he would have in the old 42. Just a transition to the new 42. Do we think either of these two legacy guys are worthy of this D tier, whether it be John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 or our guy Jimmy Johnson in the 84?
Oh, God, twist my arm. Oh, Jesus Christ.
We don't have to put him in the Ds. I think they're worthy of the conversation, though.
Jim Jam, man, he's got 7 dubs here. But the price, Elliot, 6,700, bro.
Yeah. Oof, that is a little pricey. I mean,
that's
only just above Nemechek at 65.
I get Corey LaJoie for 900 more. Like that's kind of how I gauge it. And like John Hunter started off the season absolutely ripping, and I actually like performed pretty good at the first mile and a half we saw this season. So if you want to get frisky with one of them, I guess it's JHN again, but I backed him last week, and luckily I pivoted to Hemrick like right before green flag for a couple different lineups, and that saved me because JHN was a bum last week. But yeah, you can do what you want. I'm not going to be
42 in the D's, 84 in the F's.
Yeah,
just because I mean,
Jimmy's
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say shout out Rod. Rod loves Jimmy Johnson, but as you were about to say too, like you can't get more unlucky than he has in this 84 car. It's got to be cursed, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's had good luck to make the Daytona 500, but not being able to put together the runs he wants there. Getting crashed out on the first and second laps of these things, having some shit go wrong that he had to bail on his whole second half schedule last year. Maybe circling Texas. Last year he did kind of like the marquee events, and it didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what he needs. Is let's just go and run some fucking boring ass race at Texas, get some good laps under his belt in an oval, and really kind of, not that he'll ever get back to the Jimmy Johnson of old. He's not going to be in a Hendrick car. He's he's old as shit now. He's run his race. There will not be an 8th title for Jimmy Johnson, and probably not another win either. But in that 84 car, I do think we can see a little more of that Jimmy confidence. Maybe later in the season, a race like this weekend will give him some confidence to go out there and bet a Jimmy top 10 or a top 5 at another intermediate that he may have on the schedule. I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah. Let's see if Jimmy can do it here. If he's gonna do it somewhere, it might be Texas. But crazy shit happens here too, so Jimmy might be cursed. I guess like throw in Austin Dillon. He's had some speed at Texas. It's weird. He likes it. He's the Cowboy.
Yeah, he won here in was that 20 or 21? Won the race.
Yeah. That was a shocker too when he won that race. I remember that. Yeah, long odds. Josh Berry, put Josh Berry here. Like, talk about a guy who just can't seem to really get the finishes he deserves. Running good last week again, had speed off the truck and just can't get it done. And those are negative points in DraftKings, and that's why I'm afraid to play him again.
He had a whole host of pit road problems last week. Ran well, had some bad stops, had a couple speeding penalties, just totally tanked his race.
Yeah. What about Austin Dillon? Or not Austin Dillon, Austin Hill. Can you get behind Austin Hill at all?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, he's priced at 6,000. I've got some way better value below him, I feel like.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the price at 6,000. I think he deserves to be on the board because he's a damn good driver. Like we can't ignore that. But why did they bring him to Texas, Elliot? Like this isn't even one of his like better Xfinity tracks either.
Yeah, that one I'm not sure about either. I guess maybe part of it is just when you have the cars ready and when you want the guy to drive. And really, Austin Hill needs some good PR right now. You know, everything that happens with Austin Hill, he usually ends up on the bad side of, and people usually give him hell. So going out there, putting together a nice little 25th place in the Cup Series, you know, it could be good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Austin Cindric deserves to be on the board. I was riding him in a matchup heading into Las Vegas. He's good at Las Vegas, not as good at Texas, but I think he deserves to be on the board. And we got Bob in the chat. He's asking for the 34. Like, can we show McDowell?
I was thinking both of the front row cars probably worthy of the F. I mean, Gilliland hasn't had the best runs on the mile and a half, but I don't know. I got a sneaky little feeling on that 38 not running like such shit this week. And McDowell, you know, McDowell's earned the respect at this point. There should never be a week where he's off the board. So.
Yeah, and Todd Gilliland, dude. Like Todd Gilliland, what was it? Like, I don't think he finished top 10 last week, but he was running top 10 for a good bit of that third stage. So like Todd Gilliland's slowly getting better, man. I like Todd Gilliland a little bit. So
yeah, unlike some of these guys who are not that Gilliland's a paid driver, but unlike some of these guys that have come into the series the last couple of years, you know, a certain 21 car, not necessarily worth mentioning, but there are some guys who have shown they can race, and I think Todd Gilliland's one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to throw out a guy who I've been on the last couple weeks. I've chatted about him. Not a lot of data at Texas to go off of in the next gen era. In fact, none. However, this guy, going back to his previous Cup Series days, is an all-time top 10 driver when it comes to starting position at Texas. This guy unloads quick. Elliot, do you have any? Like, I'm talking all-time, one of the best qualifiers at Texas we've ever seen. Do you want to know who that is?
Who do we got? Is that our 41 Aprice?
31, Daniel Hemrick, baby.
Okay.
Fire him up. Yeah, Daniel Hemrick. Once again, 5,200. He should not be 5,200 when there's guys like Harrison Burton at 5,400. Zane Smith, who can't seem to catch a cold right now, at 5,500. Like, Daniel Hemrick is undervalued. He's having a little bit of a stretch. He's getting you some points here at least. Last week, I played him 24 points. The week before, 16 points. Sign me up, man. Daniel Hemrick. Like, I'm going to need some low price leverage, and that's Danny Hem, baby. Danny Hems. That's the new name. Danny Hems, baby.
Not quite as, doesn't roll off the tongue as nice as McNasty, but hey, I like it. Let's roll with it. There's almost a couple more guys I almost want to throw in the Fs, but I don't know if, how are you feeling about these guys that are off the board?
Ryan Preece should probably be on the board just as a sign of respect. He was
oh yeah, go ahead on Preece.
He was 15-1 out there for a top 10 right now. And like everyone around him is like, these guys left, like Harrison and Zane Smith. I was like, man, 15-1. So I started researching Ryan Preece here at the mile and a half, and Ryan Preece specifically at Texas. It ain't great. It ain't great, but it ain't bad. Like, it ain't terrible. Like, you're probably gonna get, if he starts like 28th, he's probably gonna finish about 28th. You're probably not gonna get any differential points, but you could get 7 points.
Yeah. The only guy I might want to make an argument for is Stenhouse. I mean, the numbers aren't the best, but they're not horrible on the mile and a half.
What does Stenny do here? I don't even think
Yes, I mean, his price is a little high at 6,100, 23rd in the series.
He finished 9th here last year. Wow, I didn't even realize. Yeah. Okay, yeah, throw him on the board.
Stenhouse. I almost am thinking this F's a little heavy. Do we want to bump the 84 and the 3 up to the D's and then roll with the rest of these guys as the F's?
Oh God.
or
Oh,
at least the 3. I mean, maybe even the 3.
bump to
I'm
84.
never high on Austin Dillon.
Bump to 84 and yeah, bump. Ah, I would put Stenhouse in the D's before I put.
All
I
right.
don't know. I know we just threw him up there, but I can't make the case for Austin Dillon as anything more than an F, man. That's like that's like playing Russian roulette with the devil. You ain't doing that. I ain't doing that, Elliot. No
Hey,
way.
the Devils lost the battle in Georgia quite some time ago, so maybe he can lose a battle in Texas too. But
It's like when you're
yeah,
in a relationship and you have like women friends you're texting, just like, oh, yeah, that's just my friend. Nah, dude, I ain't playing that game. Nah, dude, hell no. We don't play those games, Elliot.
yeah. Hey, speaking of not playing games, I don't think any of the 5 that we have left on the board here are worth playing. Rick Ware Racing, I'm really optimistic because Justin Haley's a great driver. Kaz Grala has shown some pretty good speed on occasion in that 15. I just don't think the cars are ready. I think next season we could honestly see Rick Ware really throw out some of those Spire-esque, oh fuck, Justin Haley finished 18th, 3 weeks in a row. It could happen next year. I don't think it's happening this year. Zane Smith in the 71, it just hasn't caught on for him yet. He's running the truck race. Maybe that'll help him build some confidence, but I just don't see him worthy of being played. And of course, Ty Dillon, we never ranked him in that 77 last year. We're sure shit not going to rank him part-time in the 16. And Harrison Burton.
Dude, you want to talk about like I've shown Harrison Burton some love, and we've actually hit a top 10 back in the day on Harrison Burton. I mean, his DFS totals, Elliot. Let's talk about him. 10, -1, 9, -7, -25 at the Daytona. Like he's just, dude, he's not there. And yeah, dog, it's a no from me, dog. It's a no. Channel my inner Randy Jackson. It's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, we talk about every guy in the field, so you got to mention Harrison Burton's name at least for that.
Yeah, I hope he goes back to Xfinity. He'd be fun to bet on an Xfinity next year. That'd be great. Let's see it.
Swap him out to, I don't know who's the guy who's got money in Xfinity right now. Throw him in that 21 and let Harrison go back down the race with Justin Allgaier and them boys.
Jesse Love. Let's see Jesse Love in the 21. Get him in the 21. I don't know if RCR would let him go, but
no, and we need at least one more season after this of Jesse Love. I know we have our Jesse Love lovers here, and I know he's put together some good runs, but
yes,
it's a bit of a jump. But well, let's quit talking about next season. We've got our tiers for the week. This is the lineup. This is the finishing order. This is what's going to make you the most money this week, as is always here in the Backroad. But let's take a look at what the books have this week in our parking garage props.
Let's do it.
You want to talk about? Yeah, I was going to say you want to talk about vibing to one of our drops here. That's always been a favorite. So, all right, we'll start with the outrights as always. What are you feeling this week?
All right, yeah. So I'll be honest, guys. This is one of those weeks I do want to see a little bit of practice and qualifying. I'm going pretty light early in the week. I only have about 5 units on the Cup race. I actually like Xfinity a lot. We'll talk about that later in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I got a couple sprinkles, not even full units. I'm going 8/10 of a unit on the guy on the shirt, Ross Chastain. Fire him up here. Arguably, I think was the fastest car last year. He kept having shit happen and just kept battling back and back. 9th in the next gen total speed rankings at Texas and in 2023. However, he's finished 4th at Las Vegas. Had some pit issues there, if you remember. Like he was down a lap at Las Vegas, ends up battling back, staying out on old tires, gets it done. And he had 5 top 5s in our 10 comp races from last year. So remember those tracks we talked about earlier in the episode, Elliot, like the Charlottes, the Kansas, the Vegas, Michigan, Homestead, Nashville. He had 5, like half of those races. He was inside of the top 10. So, or the top 5, excuse me.
Won the race at Nashville too last year.
Yeah, exactly. Had speed down there in Tennessee. I like him a lot this week. So much that I'm hammering the top 10 -115 at Caesars on him, going a unit and a half there. And then I also went top 5, a little bonus bet Rivers throughout for me for a unit, plus 245. I think those are great numbers for Ross Chastain. I think he's the most disrespected driver on the odds this week. He was 16-1 when you wrote up your article last night, Elliot. Today, when I went to publish it, he's 18-1.
Yeah, he was still 16-1 when I put together my show sheet, at noon or 1 o'clock or whatever here. So that number moving up, definitely a good sign. He's one of the first guys on my board, both on this sheet tonight. We talked about him in the tiers, and he also was one of my picks in the Between Bets article, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He's looking good. And like at 18-1, it's risky. It's always risky betting Ross, but you can get 1 or 2 races a year where he might win. And I think this is like, I haven't bet Ross in a while. I don't think I've bet him really since maybe Vegas. And yeah, I'm back on. This is the track to bet him. Who else do you like here for an outright, Elliot? Anyone more of a long shot or more getting juicier?
I've got a little bit of both here. And, Seth, that's some good analysis on Ross. I don't think we need to get you a pair of Busch Light Blue tinted glasses for Chastain. You do a good job of having the stats to back up the fandom there. This is a week where you really have to drink the juice, I think. I never bet the favorite. I'm always the guy, give me all the plus money. Give me all the long shots. Two of my guys in the Between Bets article that I'm sticking with here. Kyle Larson, I think his number was plus 400 last night. He's the outright favorite. Just going to be tough to see this 5 car not being a factor. And the 45 of Tyler Reddick, he's a plus 700 last I saw in BetMGM. His teammate Bubba Wallace plus 1,600, a little more of a longer shot there. I don't know if his numbers moved at all. If Chastain's has, they're kind of in the same range there. I don't hate Denny Hamlin at plus 700 either. Hamlin's just one of those guys that's, some of these races, the wars of attrition, the races where your veterans are going to go out there. You need a guy to go out there and hit a setup, run well, dominate the race. A lot of times you see 11 car going to victory lane in those. And one more, Kyle Busch at plus 2,000 on Bet Rivers. I know he's tough, but there's every week I've got one bet that's like, it's so much of a long shot. You guys give the chuckle. There's my bet for the week, Rowdy outright plus 2,000.
So my bet and my question on Kyle Larson is, do you think he qualifies well and that the price gets worse than 4-1 or 4.5-1, whatever he's floating out there right now? Because that's my thing. He started 11th here last year, 9th the year before. He did pole it in 2021, swept the pole. So is that what, like, and he has back-to-back poles coming in. So are you concerned about the speed off the truck and that this could be a 3-1 when we're waking up on Sunday? Is that kind of your thought process there? Or do you think we should wait?
I do think it's probably worth jumping on that. I totally get waiting if he doesn't go out there and have the speed. But, the past couple of weeks, we've seen nothing but speed from Kyle Larson. We've even seen speed from him, not even in stock cars. He goes out there and puts out the second best time at Indy 500 practice, never being in one of those cars before. So I think this, getting on Larson at 4-1, I'm never one to drink the juice, but this is a juicy juice week here. That juice is going to, this is a juicy week here.
And then you're on Reddick at 7.5, and I don't mind it because we did see the speed at Vegas, but it just feels so short for Tyler Reddick. Like, I was hoping maybe we wake up on Monday or Tuesday morning, whenever the odds came out this week, that maybe it was 12-1, 13-1. But I do like that entire team it so much that I'm going Bubba Wallace 15-1 over there on DraftKings. Going about a half a unit on that, so I'm not splurging there. But I am going to go a full unit on his top 10 number. Minus 115 over there at Caesars. I think that's a really good deal for him there as well. Fourth in the total speed rankings here a year ago, and was the best car in that race. We chatted about that earlier. Put it on the poll. Number 1 in average position, number 1 mid race, number 1 in driver rating, led 111 laps. Intermediates are kind of just Bubba Wallace's things nowadays. Finished 6th in his first race with 23 XI Racing here in 2021, and then was 8th in his rookie year here when he was running with Richard Petty Motorsports still, which is, pretty impressive for a rookie to go out there in the 43 car and do what he did. So five top 5s in those same comp races that we're looking at. So about 50% of the times at the mile and a half last year, he was doing well. He was putting in the top 5. So, I'm kind of doing the full lift here. I'm going top 10, top 5 outright. Elliot, any thoughts here on Bubba? He was kind of dog shit at Las Vegas, didn't get the finish he wanted. But Reddick was fast. So if you think Reddick's fast, you probably got to think Bubba's going to be fast too.
Yeah, I mean, what he did last year and just 23-11, like I said, it really seems like your Kansas and your Texas are the 2 best tracks for them. I always throw out a lot of bets there. I don't always necessarily throw some coin on them. I think it's going to be the 1 and both the 23-11 guys that'll get my outright actual, laying down the spread.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple couple things. Bob saying Jesse Love is better than the car.
Oh, all right. I mean, that RCR and Xfinity was not a slouch.
Oh, getting a little flood warning over there.
Yeah, we
Jim.
got flash flood warning till 2:30. I wasn't kidding. It's raining in Pittsburgh. It's raining. Sorry about that, folks.
No, love it. Love it. Alfred saying he's loving Chastain as well, and then saying he will qualify well. It's either Larson or Bubba. I think he's referring to here. Bubba's qualified well too, man. Like
Even at tracks you don't expect, he's out there making the second round.
Yeah, dude. Bubba Wallace has looked real good off the truck. So I don't think you're going to see a 15-1 on Bubba or an 18-1 on Chastain, but I think that's really good for outrights, Ellie. I think that was, a really good mix of you taking a little more juice, and I'm taking more longer shots this week. We actually kind of traded roles there. I'm usually more the juice drinker. So interesting how that happens here. Let's go into placement props, though. I did talk about a couple of placement props I'm on. Ross top 10, Ross top 5. Same with Bubba, top 5, top 10 for those guys. There is one more I have that I haven't discussed. Elliot, do you have anything in the placement prop market that you like? I know Alfred said that he liked Larson top 3.
Yeah, I didn't really get into the top 3 bets. A couple of the top 5, some guys we've mentioned, Denny Hamlin, his top 5 at plus 120, Bubba top 5 at plus 250. Jimmy Johnson's top 10 is at plus 700. There's another probably sillier long shot, but if you got faith in that 84 car. And then Ross Chastain, especially in the top 10, when am I ever drinking the damn juice? Top 10 minus 115. I really like that for the one car this weekend.
Dude, that's a really fair price. That's a really fair price. So I'm completely, it seems like we're kind of in lockstep there. Alfred asking in the chat, what's our opinion on Martin Truex Jr.? Dude, it hasn't been great at Texas for him. Like, let's look back at his recent finishes, Alfred. 17th, 31st, 14th, 25th, 13th. His best finish here recently, second in 2020. That's a long time ago, man.
Whole different car.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know. Like, for what you're getting him at, like, on the, like, I guess it's nice seeing, it's a little refreshing seeing Martin Truex Jr. back at 12-1 where he kind of belongs. Because we had been, you would bet him last week, 7.5-1, 8-1. Like, it's nice to see a little bit of value come back with the lines there, but there's nothing in his resume at Texas that says I should be betting him this week, I don't think.
Yeah, and of course the value is going to look better when there's no chance of a guy going out there and winning. Put the outright at wherever the hell you want. You're not going to have to pay it out.
Yeah, what was he at Vegas, though? I do wonder what he was at Vegas. I don't know if I have that in front of me.
I mean, if you want to do some digging on that, I mean, Truex's numbers are pretty good, especially last year. Second at Kansas. Texas was his worst, though, in the total speed ranking here that's next to me. 21st, and, averages the 9th speed ranking, 7th rank in the series overall at the high-speed mile and a halves. I just don't think he's there at Texas. I think you're right.
He was 7th at Las Vegas. So that gives you a little bit of confidence, but like, are you really going to bet him at like minus 150 for a top 10? Probably not. And you can't get to, I can't get him to a top 5 at 2-1. No, thank you. So yeah, it's probably a miss on us this week, Alfred. I do love Martin Truex Jr. though. I do want to see him win.
Yeah, trust me, there are going to be weeks where Truex is going to look good. I thought that he was going to come out there guns ablaze, and it gets to the end of the race. He's on the strategy that he needs a caution to go out there and win.
Well, hey, Elliot, this is setting up for us very well for when we head out to Delaware here in a couple of weeks. And we hit a really nice outright on him last year at Dover. I think this is going to be like, I don't want to wish bad on Martin Truex Jr., but I hope he has 2 bad finishes the next 2 weeks. We get a good-ass number. We're fucking hammering that as soon as the Dover lines drop, Alfred. You better believe it, baby. Calling the shot now. Calling the shot now.
That could happen, but Truex, I think that race was rained out to a Monday, and we all know how good Monday Truex Jr. is. So that was definitely a little bit of it.
Yeah, Bob saying Dover. Yes, sir.
We finally locked it in, getting credentials, a little more hoops to jump through in case you're out there, a content creator yourself. A few more hoops to jump through for the tracks owned by Speedway Motorsports. Pocono, one of the last great independents. We've already filed for those, got approved for those too. Took a day. Dover took a couple of months, but hey, we got it locked in. Shout out to everybody in those facilities facilitating those things for us for sure. We're excited to be out there at track.
So this is everything your parents say to not do on the internet. But Bob, just so you have it, I'm going to put my phone number in the live chat right now. Go
Oh,
ahead.
Seth, don't do that. Oh, you already did it.
Sorry. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I trust the IVT family. I trust.
Yeah, you trust the IVT family, but you don't trust the bots that are watching this chat. You're right. You
No.
see the spam text like, "Hey, Carol, how are you?" What's the?
I'll delete this in 5 minutes. Bob, make sure
All
you
right.
jot this number down. Text us when you're in Dover. We'll get a couple brewskis that weekend. We'll do a little celebrating after we cash some tickets. All right. So I'm gonna go to my favorite placement prop of the week.
Yeah.
I'm taking a little nibble, just a little half a unit nibble, more than I thought I was going to actually on it, but I started to like it the more I dug. Corey LaJoie, top 10, 12-1 at Caesars. I'm expecting a little bit of chaos in this race, Elliot. I'm going to be straight up with you, man. These tires at Texas, I don't know what Marcus Smith laid down in this track, but they're gobbling them up. They're like, he's got little gremlins out there on this motor speedway trying to eat out these tires. But listen, man, Corey LaJoie running top 10 at Vegas, 7th in stage 1. Hocevar ran good that day. We chatted about that earlier. Finishes here with Spire for Corey LaJoie at Texas, 26th. Okay, that's not great. 14th. It's close.
All right.
4th, 20th, 10th. So he's done it twice. He's done it twice in 5 times here. Like, keep in mind, 12-1 is the number here, Ellie. I'm playing the number, and I'm expecting the chaos. Like, Cindric is plus 550. 7-1 is Hocevar. Jim Jam, 6.5-1. I'm getting 12-1 for a guy who's done this twice in the last 5 races. That's all. I'm just shooting the number here.
You're right.
So, and yeah, so I wanted one little long shot nibble this week because I am experiencing some or I think we are going to experience some chaos. I thought it was going to be Ryan Preece. He's 15-1. Didn't like it. So locking Corey LaJoie, baby, 12-1. Let's go, Elliot.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely recency bias on my part, just going out there and seeing in the last 2 weeks, just run at the complete back of the field, just on speed, not even any incident. Those are 2 short tracks. I'm definitely letting that get in my way. He has the experience here to run well. even 12.5-1 or whatever you said it was. I'd almost rather think about Todd Gilliland at plus 2,000 for a top 10 there, but you're right. LaJoie's done it before.
Todd Gilliland's plus 2. Yeah, his finishes are dog shit here, though.
The finishes are bad. LaJoie's got the history of running well. And you're right. There are some of these races where chaos happens. And if he's a guy who can manage his tires well, going out there getting the top 10, definitely not out of the picture.
Bro, Justin Haley was like ripping around in 3rd in this race last year, like at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget about that. I don't think he finished inside the top 10. No, he finished 14th, but there was a point last year. I was like, oh my God, Justin Haley's going to get top 10 here. So keep in mind, yeah, like Noah Gragson, he finished top 10 at Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually, maybe not as long as a 12-1 cashes here, but like a 4 to 5 to 1 to 7 to 1. Sometimes one of these guys will cash at these 1.5 miles. I'm picking Corey LaJoie, baby. Anything else in placement props before we flip over to matchups?
No, I'm ready to roll with the matchups.
And do you have anything for matchups? Because I'll be honest, man, I don't love a lot of pre-practice and qualifying cup matchups right now out there in the field. Like there was Bubba plus 135 against Reddick, which I struggled with. I was like, oh, damn, that sounds good. But you look at Reddick's numbers here and they're pretty nice as well. So I don't have anything I am currently down on in the matchups and groups. Anything you're eyeing up here, Elliot?
I always throw down some stuff to just jot down. It's more so to talk out. And for as high as I am on Larson, I've got 3 different matchups here against Kyle Larson for qualifying in the race. Because you can get some plus money because he is the favorite and plus money on good cars. William Byron plus 115 over Larson on DK.
That's not bad.
On Caesars, you've got Tyler Reddick plus 120. So those are guys that are favorites along with Larson that, you're going to get plus money on if they finish ahead of him. And in the qualifying matchups, thank God I looked. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, I didn't pick up these were a thing. I saw a couple. I'm like, oh my God, these are nuts. They were qualifying matchups. That's why they were nuts.
Yeah.
In qualifying, if you guys are playing those, Denny Hamlin plus 130 over Larson. That one I'm much less high on. And Tyler Reddick plus 115 over Logano. Again, thinking that was a race matchup, I'm like, that's a hammer. But then my dumbass, I opened my eyes. I saw the qualifying matchup. Yeah. But I still don't hate it there.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. Anything for specials that you saw out there? I am currently not down on anything in the specials department, but I have one that I want to do more research on. It was over 3.5 cars out of this race by 200 laps. if you're expecting chaos, it was plus 185, Elliot. It was plus 185. I thought that was a decent number for what you're like. Again, I would take a little nibble at that, maybe a quarter unit, maybe a tenth of a unit, but I don't mind a potential, almost 2-1 there for some chaos to have. I don't know why, man. I don't know why like Texas is that one super speedway that shit seems to hit the fan. Like I don't really. Do you understand why that happens?
I mean, battle of attrition. If you have a guy blow a tire and he's not just running out by himself, he can take out 3 other guys in snap of a finger. So
Yeah, I get, we'll see if the tires are any better this week. Anything for you in specials before we flip over to the Xfinity and trucks?
I got a couple I'll throw out there just for the sake of having some fun. Ford, the longest shot manufacturer this week, plus 370. Caesars, plus 380 over on ESPN bet. So if you got faith in those Penske boys, that's a pretty big line for manufacturer props. One group that I saw that was kind of neat, taking Noah Gragson at plus 290 over Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, and Chase Briscoe. Again, some guys who will be running around, but I kind of like Gregson this week. And this was on Bet Rivers, and even number car to win is at plus 135. That gives you some guys like Kyle Busch. It gives you Blaney, Briscoe, Christopher Bell, Logano.
Don't Bowman. Lead with Kyle Busch. Don't lead with Kyle Busch.
It's in numerical order. I just go, what's an even number? So Kyle Busch in the 8. You got Blaney, you got Briscoe, you got Bell, Logano, Bowman, Ty Gibbs, and Jimmy Johnson. All even numbers, plus 135.
I wanted to be on the odd side of that so bad, and it's like it's so juiced. I think it's like minus 165 right now or something.
It was very juiced, and that's because most of the guys who we've been talking about all night are not in that group that I just mentioned.
Yeah, I'd drink the juice with odd before I would take that.
Yeah. And we mentioned chaos. We've had chaos in the Cup Series the last couple of weeks. This race is plus 450 to go to overtime. We did not expect each of the last 2 weeks to go to overtime, and they did. Why not bet on the chaos to continue?
Yeah, that you got a nice number if you bet overtime for the last 2 races. So hopefully some sharp people out there did that. Let's talk Xfinity and trucks here. Let's start with the trucks on Friday night. I have one bet I like. With Kyle Busch coming down, it does present a lot of opportunity, I think, Elliot, for some value in the outright market. Mm-hmm. I'm just expecting kind of a shit show. And the one guy who was kind of able to dodge the shit show, who was ranked inside the top 5 in green flag speed and segment speed last year at this track, was Ty Majeski. You can get him right now for a top 5 at plus 120 at Caesars. I'm going a unit on that. Majeski's looked good. He has good finishes here. Has another top 5 in his last race before that. So everything is kind of like Majeski's the only guy who's checking all the boxes for me this week. And I don't know if he can win it. I don't think he can, but love the kid's story. He was on with our friend Derek Yoder on his All Things Go podcast a couple weeks ago. And he's actually like, they keep getting like, they don't have an engineer right now in that camp. Like he is the engineer for his team as they're waiting for some kid to graduate from college. So a big bump probably going to come here Ty Majeski's way, but he's doing it all up there for that team. So I like Ty Majeski top 5 plus 120 at Caesars in the Truck Series.
Yeah, that's not bad. And like you mentioned, Kyle Busch racing the series. What was his outright again? Plus 175 or something like that.
I think the best I saw was like plus 160 maybe.
Yeah. So not great there, but it does provide some value. Provide some value for another Cup driver in the field, Zane Smith at plus 900 over on Bet Rivers. Like I said, he's a guy that has gone down there. He's won a lot in trucks. He needs a little bit of a confidence boost right now. It's very silly of me. I didn't look up what truck he's going to be in. I'm assuming it's something relatively competitive. Could go out there and battle KFB for the win. The number for Kyle Busch, just impossible to bet. I mean, you hope that he crashes in qualifying or something. Yeah. You get a little relief on that number, but just hasn't been there. And then just perusing the matchups for fun. Everyone seems to like Taylor Gray that I've talked to. Taylor Gray is at even money over Raja Karuth in a matchup.
Raja was so fast at Vegas, though. He won Vegas.
He was, but I'm just throwing it out there. You're drinking
the Taylor Gray Kool-Aid now too. Everyone is, man. I mean, he's been doing it in both series. He's been doing it in the Xfinity series and the Truck Series all season long. So I can't blame the call there. I kind of like Raja this week a little bit too. I think Raja will be sneaky fast. Xfinity, let's go to Xfinity Saturday afternoon, Elliot. Excited for this Xfinity race. I think we have some really good numbers here this week. Chandler Smith has kind of suppressed the market a little bit, just as far as himself. His odds are continuing to go down, and everyone else, I feel like there's some really good values out there now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I totally get the Chandler Smith love. He's gone out there. He's run dominant. He's back in a Gibbs car, running a Collin car last year. Didn't work out so well. He picked that shit up immediately and was like, fuck this. I'm going back to Gibbs. Clearly the right decision. Already's locked himself in. Already has been, the class of the field in Xfinity. Definitely some value here. And we talked a little bit about this before the show. We're both down on the same sort of underdogs here. I like Stewart-Haas Racing this week. We've got Cole Custer an outright of plus 550. Riley Herbst at an outright of plus 1,000. They've both had speed on the 1.5 miles. Of course, Custer going out there, winning the Xfinity title last year. Herbst finally getting that first win in his home track of Vegas, very similar to here at Texas. And Ford to win is at plus 375. So if you like SHR, there is a lot of money to be made on the Xfinity side.
Yeah, I'll just bet the outrights on Herbst and Custer than Ford, because I don't think there's another Ford that can win this race in here.
I don't know, yeah, I mean, but if you want like one of those guys, throw a little bit of extra money on it.
Yeah. Cole Custer, he was another one of those weird ones that opened a lot, like plus 550, 6-1, a lot of places. He got a little bit of a bump now. He's plus 650 at DraftKings. Listen, man, like not only is this like the Andy Custard's 250, there is a Cole Custer flavor I have heard on the internet at Andy Custard's.
I saw it and it looks delicious. It's got like vanilla with some sort of swirl and like Heath Toffee, big toffee guy.
Yes.
Shame the closest Andy's custard is, either you got to go far enough south of North Carolina or Tennessee or something. We don't have that around here, but that is a good point. I forgot they've got the sponsorship off with the race this week. Even more incentive.
Yeah, and this guy just number 3 in all the advanced metrics for this race last season. Green flag speed by segment, speed late in a run, finished 6th. And he seems to just kind of love Texas, really. Finished top 8 in the Xfinity Series in 6 of his 7 starts, top 5 in 4 of the 7, including a 2018 win as well. And let's not forget, Elliot, it wasn't that long ago back at Kentucky in the Cup Series that he won, which is kind of another 1.5 miles I would kind of compare to Texas if we were still running that as well. And second at Las Vegas, our best comp track. So quietly right now, like Cole Custer's top 5 or top 2 in the points. He has 5 top 10s, 3 top 5s. Like Custer at plus 650 this week feels like, I'd say, my best value of the week, Elliot. I think that's the best number. And you can also get him, if you're okay with riding a little bit of minus money, minus 110 at DraftKings for a top 5. We don't even need top 3. We need a top 5. I went a full unit there. I went 0.8 of a unit on the outright. I'm in, man. I'm on Custer. If he doesn't win, though, Justin Allgaier, take it to the bank. Justin Allgaier, fastest car, number 1 in all those advanced metrics I just mentioned for Custer, number 1 in all of them. I don't know why. This guy just seems like if there's a black cat on the road, he's going to fucking hit it. But other than that, Justin Allgaier, I like him a lot as well this week.
Yeah, I mean, Junior Motorsports has been a little snake bit, but I've got some numbers on here for him too. I don't have his outright on the board. Good call there. Top 5 at minus 150. I don't like to drink the juice. I'm drinking the juice there. If you do like him over Chandler Smith, also you can get him at plus 110. I know that's pretty close to even money. And I did take note. I don't think I'm going to bet it, but I took note of the Jesse Love outright at plus 2,500. We know the car's fast. It's not Love, maybe a better driver. He's not in the tractor out there. Something that is, if you're going to take a long shot in Xfinity, maybe a guy like that getting the victory lane.
Yeah. Don't mind it at all. A couple other numbers I wanted to shoot out here. And also, I do like the top 5. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait till after qualifying. Maybe he doesn't qualify as good as we think Allgaier will, and maybe we can get some value because I do want a placement on him. The top 5 number is a little short for me, and the top 3 numbers just risky. So
it is a big glass of juice for sure.
I don't think we mentioned him, Brian Truex. I think Ryan Truex 8-1. The thing I like about Ryan Truex, not only did he win Dover last season in a Joe Gibbs racing car, but this car is the one that was in victory lane not only last week, but also in last year when John Hunter Nemechek won this race as well. So yeah, I like Ryan Truex 8-1. I just have a little sprinkle, like a quarter of a unit on that. And then I'm also going top 5 plus 110, about a half a unit on that on DraftKings. So just a little bit of exposure to Truex. But like, I think if you want some Joe Gibbs Toyota in the Xfinity Series, Ryan Truex is kind of my way of not paying the juice for Chandler. And I like Chandler. I think Chandler's going to be fine, but just not this week. This is the 1 week I'm okay with. I couldn't bet the matchup that you did, but I'm kind of fading him a little bit without actually, matching up against him.
Yeah, I mean, one way or another, it is impossible to ignore Joe Gibbs racing in the Xfinity Series. Truex being the way to go this week. I mean, he got the win at Dover. Was that last year, 2 years ago? Was able to get it done. So he's got that confidence behind him. And we know that those cars are going to be running up front. So why not the younger Truex brother?
Bob saying, love that. Yeah, some little,
I knew I had to look into it. I don't hate the number there. So worth a mention.
Yeah, absolutely. Elliot, anything else for you that we haven't touched on, man?
I mean, I think we've gone through plenty here. We've given the folks a good opportunity to make some coin, even on what may not be our favorite races of the year at Texas, but still a way we can get some excitement in there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I start each week sometimes, especially coming off kind of like a down cup race, lost a little bit of money and didn't profit on the weekend like I thought we would, especially after ending big on Eric on Saturday. But as the week goes, as the community, the drum beat picks up and we start going through the week, people are talking, lines are moving, odds are dropping. Like my spirit just picks up. And by the time we come here on Thursday night, man, I am buzzing. So I appreciate everyone, man. This NASCAR betting community we're building over here on the IBT Media channel between our show on Thursday nights and then the NASCAR betting preview show on Wednesday nights. It's been awesome, man. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support, man. Like it really is a blessing. Excited to get out to Dover in a couple weeks, Elliot. It's a really fun season, man, and we're gonna keep swinging, bro. And I think we're on. I think we're on, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The next couple of weeks is going to be really exciting too. We'll be in Dover in 2 weeks. That'll be exciting enough. Talladega's coming next week. So big opportunity for some big money to be made there. Also big opportunity to be made to win money on the Masters. We know that our golf guys are some of the best in the game. If you didn't watch the 19th hole, go back, check it out. It's a shame that I can't bet golf because I'm sure that these guys would make me a hell of a lot and will hopefully make you guys a hell of a lot and show you some of these behind the whatever you want to call them, some of these, some of the more long shots, who's going to be good at the Masters, is what I'm trying to say.
Connor, to close out the show yesterday, I'm cutting it up. He says Bryson DeChambeau, first round leader. I haven't checked what it's. I think it was maybe a 40-1 that he called out there to end the show. I haven't checked the leaderboard, but before we got on the show, it was hitting and it looked like it was going to cash. Those dogs know what they're doing out there. Those dogs know what they're doing. I tail them full-heartedly. So I'm going to continue to ride with them here. But good shout out there and shout out to our NFL team as well. We're going to have some great NFL draft coverage coming out. So some great stuff coming. We got Bob in the chat saying you guys are a lot of fun and exciting. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. We just we get to sit here and talk NASCAR. Elliot, you've been one of my best friends for last 5 or 6 years of my life. This is a blessing every single week, and I'm thankful for you sitting in here and hosting my dumbass. And I appreciate Rod hanging out with us every other week as well, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a lot of fun, and having a community around the show too. We were, the growth on the channel has been really cool. We definitely didn't have this active community when we first started. We didn't even do the show live the first 2 years, so it's been really cool to be able to do that. And hey, so they did suspend the first round. It looks like there will be some guys that need to finish in the morning, I guess. Okay. Right now, DeChambeau on top of that Masters leaderboard.
Let's go.
As the first round is coming to a close. It does say they'll have to finish that tomorrow morning because of inclement weather down there. But so far, so good.
There we go, man. Well, Elliot, I got nothing else, man. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Support us here. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. We're back next Thursday. I think you'll be out of here, but Rod and I will hold down the fort as we head to Dega.
Yeah, I mean, Talladega is always a fun one. And then we'll have a lot of fun planned for Dover weekend too, which will start off with a fun Thursday Backroad show in 2 weeks when I'll be back. But hey, thanks everyone for watching. We always appreciate you taking a ride down the back road with us. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, y'all.